So OIA had this presentation about trying to get people outdoors more because it's going to help your health. Duh, of course you know that. Like, you get out in the trees, your breathing slows down, cortisol drops dramatically. The health benefits are numerous. It's not a matter of that you don't know that it's healthy to get out in nature. It's how do you make it happen? And so there was a pyramid to show about how much nature, and I think this is kind of shocking because it'll put things in perspective. You know, with our lifestyle, we get to this part, but it's hard. I mean, we don't have many responsibilities, so of course we can do this, but every day you should spend 1 hour outdoors in nature. Now, it doesn't mean like you can't just go to a park. A park would totally count, but you should be in something like within a few minutes of your house outdoors. Once a week in a regional, so if you have like a county park, a city park, something a little bit bigger that, you know, you might have to pack up a cooler and head to the lake, things like that. Once a month, you should be in a regional, like we are today, like a national park. So something where you're trying to, I think a big reason, and I'll have to research this for the blog, is that, you know, if you just go to your neighborhood park all the time, that's all you do, you're not going to appreciate, it's not going to be rewarding enough to get you to make time for it. So that's why we do like Adventure Bigger University. Every time you adventure bigger, a lot of times you immerse yourself in more nature and you create bigger experiences for yourself, or you stand below bigger mountains, and that motivates you to prioritize it. And really that's all it comes down to, is prioritizing your time. So, and then the next one was once a year, going abroad, international, get in nature, like go rock climb Spain, go hike in the Pyrenees, go hike through New Zealand, things like that. So a little bit of motivation, inspiration. We'll put a blog together to try to help you find ways to meet those. We were just talking about how you know you want to be in nature, but sometimes it's hard. You have responsibilities, you have time commitments. But one of the big things I talk about in my books and in my courses is how important shaping your environment is. And let's talk specifically about kids, because, you know, raising 5 kids, it's not easy. It's definitely not. Raising 1 kid's not easy. So when Danny, hi Danny, just kidding. When Danny was younger, he played a lot of video games. Okay, we lived in a big house. Our life revolved around a schedule, getting to work, homeschooling. It was a constant struggle. Like, Danny always wanted to play video games. It's like constant negotiation. If I get this work done, can I play video games? And it used to drive me crazy. And a good friend of mine one day said, why don't you just pull the plug? And I'm like, oh, I can't. And Victor grew up playing video games, and he felt like it wasn't such a bad thing. And so it was kind of between our marriage too, a little bit of a fight, because I'm like, hi, we should just have none of it. It's like if you want to eat healthy, but you have Doritos and candy bars in your refrigerator or pantry, it's going to be hard to make the right choice. So naturally, when we started this lifestyle, we didn't have electricity very often, and playing video games kind of weeded itself out, or it was just frustrating. And a big thing Danny would say after a while is like, if I can't be good at it, I don't want to play. It's just frustrating to go to play video games. And that was about the time when all the video games shifted to online. And so you're playing people you don't even know, and he's like, I don't want to play if I'm just going to lose all the time. So it's like I didn't have the guts to pull the plug, but eventually our lifestyle pulled the plug. And still, every so often, when we're in Mission Bay, we'll bring out the video games if we have electricity for a while, and I'll let them play a couple hours a week. But a couple hours a week, we're talking, not a couple hours a day. Point of all this rambling is that I'm telling you, I'm giving you permission. You're not a bad mom. You're not a bad dad. Have the guts. If you feel like, oh, I'm constantly fighting this, pull the plug, because it opens up space for things like this. It opens up space for other opportunities, even if it's to just go to your park in your neighborhood. Even if it puts time in your schedule to plan trips like this, because a lot of people, you know, you get finally a 4-day weekend, but you didn't think ahead to book campsites in a national park. And then I gotta tell you, it's not as fun to camp outside a national park. It's stressful. You're gonna be drained. It's like going to Disneyland on a holiday. Why would you do that? Why would you torture yourself with that? Well, that's also just my opinion. So we should actually hear from what Danny thinks of the whole thing. And so Danny, do you think not playing video games has traumatized you socially, mentally? physically.
Not playing video games traumatized me. I do not think so. It is funny when you are around someone who does play video games and you're like, I don't. You're like, aren't you okay? Just don't you play video games? But besides that, no, it has not traumatized me.
Do you think it's had some benefit?
Yes. The biggest benefit, of course, would be that time you are not playing gets to go to other things, whether it be this grueling hike right now, or to another hobby you like, or to being around your family.
Yeah, those are three worthwhile pursuits. Well, you've written how many books now? Not published, but written.
Three.
Written 3. It's probably opened up a lot of time for that, right?
Yes, there was kind of a point a couple years ago where we had to decide, do I want to be able to do more with important things like writing, or do I want to play video games? And so I
yeah, now the interesting is Jiraiya is about the same age you were, and you do, I would say more than 50% of raising Jiraiya. You play a huge role in his development.
Majority.
Yeah. So you're kind of like a dad to him in some ways. So
as much as you wish. Or not.
What is your opinion on like seeing him with how much you struggle with disciplining him, like if video games were in the equation also?
I feel like it would just, for him, he is the kind who will argue about anything. So it would just be another thing I'd have to argue about with him.
Yeah.
So if your kid's like good with like sticking to like a schedule, it might be fine, but my brother will argue.
He always tries to push things, no matter what you say, okay, you get 7 of these, he'll argue
Plus,
for 8.
He's always in a bad mood. 90% of the time, he will be in a bad mood if he gets to play video games for a long time.
Yeah, we see it in his eyes a lot. He needs a lot of physical.
He gets this glassy-eyed look.
Yeah.
Looks
All
like
right.
he's stoned.
Thanks, Danny. We appreciate your opinion.